Everybody in the house tonight. Today we got a lot to get to, so we're just gonna dive right in as we like to do. Welcome to everybody on the YouTube live stream, and welcome to our friends on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. So now coming to you on lots of different platforms. Also, Twitch streamers. Glad you're here as well. Thanks for being here, everybody. And yeah, lots of tensions going on. Do you guys think it's gonna heat up, or do you think that things will calm down? So we'll get all the latest breaking information. And then of note, as you guys can see, we've got a lot of new target imagery to cover. One little thing to start off for those of you watching, I will describe it if you're just listening, but ultimately we've got new strike data coming in for where the actual bulk cargo carriers were hit by Iran, right? Because they're going to come out and say, oh, the U.S. is breaking the ceasefire and performing armed piracy. Oh, really? Is that right? Well, actually, we know that we have strikes here. April 18th, we've got strikes near Larak Island in Iran, where again, as you can see, Iran's going to push up all the different ships, which they say the minefield is here, and they're going to push all the ships up north by Larak Island. So they're playing hardball, they're playing dirty, and it looks like they're getting some of their own medicine at this point. And that's good. Obviously, when it comes to dealing with terrorists, making sure they get some of their own medicine is kind of the name of the game. And it's what I would, well, actually, I don't know. What do you guys think? How do you actually negotiate with terrorists? I really don't know what to say. I don't know how you actually negotiate with terrorists, but it looks like the U.S. administration is doing everything they can to try to get some sort of negotiated deal done. But it looks like Iran has walked away from the table. The ceasefire is set to expire tomorrow. So what does that mean? Well, it means things are going to get spicy. So if you look at this different imagery right here, this was a French ship. Actually, so some people have said, no, it wasn't any European ships that were hit. It was only Indian tankers, and the IRGC loves Europe. They love the UK. They love the French. But look right here, French ship struck. The French CMA CGM Everglade was attacked. We know that none of the crew was hurt, at least from what we know so far, what's been released. But this kind of shows this is the dirty tricks that the IRGC is up to. And then just a little teaser, I got to show you guys this. This is pretty interesting here. When we look at what's actually been struck on Qasem Island itself, there was fuel storage tanks that were struck, likely a lot of these fuel storage tanks being used to power drones. So when you're powering drones with the different fuel places, or you're powering drones with any energy infrastructure, again, they become legal targets. So I'm just letting you guys know that the legal targets become energy infrastructure if they're using it to power nefarious, we'll just say they're hobbies. Yeah, it's just IRGC hobbies. They're just out there flying their hobby drones around, right? Yeah, exactly. So Hingham Island, another place that we've got launch sites for different drones, and then a comms site. So we're looking at the map for everybody listening with a comms site, basically middle of nowhere on Hingham Island. But here's probably the big takeaway here is this comm site has a little bit of elevation. So you can see the tower here. So this tower gets up pretty high. And if we put ourselves down there in the map, if we're just kind of standing here next to it, you can see that it probably has a great view. Yeah. So you can't see the over the horizon view here because the antenna is long on the ground here, but this is likely going to have an over the horizon view directly to the Strait of Hormuz, which is going to mean they have the ability to detect where the ships are, what the national origin of the different ships. So I'm definitely surprised that this one hasn't been struck, but it makes me think there is a different plan. It makes me think there is a different plan for what could actually go on when, we'll say if, I guess we can still say if at this point, if hostilities kick off. So that's the big focus there. If and when the hostilities kick off, will these different sites be struck, or will they be allowed to continue to operate? And is there a reason for that to take place? Because you want to strike down any ability of the IRGC to be able to detect. And we've got a diamond situation in the house. You want to say hi to the people real quick?
Yeah, hi everyone.
You got to come in this way a little bit more.
There we go. Hi everyone. Slight plug too, just so you know, I don't know if you said anything yet or not, but the person who won the giveaway yesterday has not contacted us. So we are going to be spinning the wheel again for another member to win the
It's right there. You want to grab it? So we've actually got a joystick, which is an F-16 replica joystick, and this will be a gift. I'll sign it, and then it'll be sent to you. So if you're not a member yet, sign up. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Joystick in the face. Not the first time that's happened. Oh, I'm on point today. You better watch out. These jokes are going to be next level. This is the actual joystick itself. So if become a member on YouTube, become a live stream member, and you get access to all the different videos that are on there as well, full-length podcasts and things like that. But you have a few minutes to sign up. You've got about 20 to 30 minutes right now to sign up, become a member, and then you'll be eligible for this. Sarah will get all the names at the end and spin the wheel of destiny, and then we figure out who wins. So this is it right here. I'll get it signed. It's a F-16 replica. It's a flight sim stick. Can be used with DCS and other flight sim games, but also you could just set it somewhere cool. Set it in your bar.
It looks cool. So set it somewhere and have it pretty to look at.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of pretty to look at, thank you for coming in and gracing us with your presence. Everybody just got a breath of fresh air. They're like, oh, we feel great. And now they're like, oh, why does it feel like a okay, we got to get the Sarah cam going. Okay, she's going to get the Sarah cam going. So that's always a good sign. Thank you. We'll see you on the cam. All right. Got the tea flowing, compliments of diamond. That's huge. So ultimately, the minefield itself, likely, I don't know, guys. You don't want to discount it because there could be something there. But as you can see, it's strategically pushing ships. And I just think it's wild that France is like, see, the IRGC, they're good guys. That we're not a part of this conflict at all. And then the first French ship they try to get through the strait gets struck by the IRGC. So again, what I would say to you, Macron, is the writing's on the wall, my friend. Don't think you're on the right side of history on this one. And I think there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, we're kind of seeing that France has no backbone. The UK is even kind of speaking up saying, yeah, maybe we should have done a little more to help out early on. So it sounds like these different folks are trying to get on the right side of history. But man, it's a little bit too late. Wouldn't you say? It's a little bit too little too late with their ships being struck and them not really having any thought of how to take command or control of protection of their own ships. They're just kind of, they've been used to this. And this is the one thing I'll say when it comes to Europe. Europe's been used to this freedom of navigation where they just have had to pay off the IRGC, pay off the mafia bosses. That's basically been all they've had to do. And that's allowed them to get that sweet oil for, a while. Until now. Now they're sending all their ships to the US. We're looking at a little bit of more imagery here. This is an IRGC 5th Naval District base right along the coastline. If you're listening in, we're zooming in, looking at this thing. And you can see the IRGC Navy's 5th District is based right here. So let's have a look. We'll see. This is obviously a headquarters that they have. And again, the headquarters, if I was a betting man, I'd say a lot of these headquarters are going to be top of mind if it comes to new strikes, if we come down to those new strikes. So IRGC Navy 5th District. Again, Derek, thank you so much for the imagery. And thank you for everything you do. I know you're taking a couple days vacation. And so unlike Diamond, you are allowed to take vacation. You're not on the payroll yet. You're doing this out of the goodness of your heart, and we really appreciate you doing that. But yeah, this is a brand new file. Derek literally sent this to me this morning. So this is all updated strike footage or imagery, and also where those ships actually are. And then let's see if they have anything. I mean, it is their naval port. So let's see, 5th District Navy, but it looks like they cleaned it out. Let's see if they have anything here Navy-wise. Doing a quick zoom in, looks like a bit of a freighter type vessel, bigger vessel. This is the kind of thing that they could be using for some sort of a drone ship, getting those, Shahed drones out into the water where they think they'll be more able to use them against the U.S. I mean, no, the ship was intercepted. The Tushka was intercepted. But one of the big things that you've heard me talk about is we got to make sure that the next one isn't some sort of a trap that the IRGC is laying for the Marine Expeditionary Unit. Because, of course, they've thought of it. I mean, you think they haven't thought of that? Military strategy, it's the reason why we come here. It's the reason why, I'm trying to bring you guys the best updated information possible. Is military strategy. A big part of that is deception. So a lot of people have complained about the president's Truth Social posts and things like that. But what we're seeing play out real time is military deception, giving enemies an off-ramp. A lot of smart military minds helping direct a lot of the actions that I think are taking place and will potentially take place here in the next few days should this conflict kick back off. But you can see IRGC Navy Special Forces Brigade is actually on this island. Again, always say being in the Navy is kind of the best of all worlds, even for the IRGC, because you get to be in choice spots like this island base right here. But this is an IRGC in naval base. So this is where their special forces are. So their version of the Navy SEALs are based right here. Let's have a look. Let's zoom in a little more. So lots of different, they've got a picnic place. Oh, the IRGC Special Forces have a little picnic spot. Oh, guys, you shouldn't have. You built yourself a little picnic spot. That's nice. They're like, yeah, we've done a lot of hard work slaughtering thousands of our own people. So we're going to have a little picnic spot here. But you can see this is built as a bit of a compound type structure. They've got some lookout towers here on the top. Lookout towers where they can look towards the Strait of Hormuz, or they can look and see for any incoming threats coming in, trying to take the naval base. Hint, hint, will that be something that we actually see play out? Definitely could be. So will that actually be something that takes place? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I hear you. Exactly. A lot of good comments coming in, a lot of people shouting out, basically saying what they think will happen next, keeping everything on topic, which I appreciate. And then we've got Diamond about to join the chat. That'll be good. Siri Island. This is one that has kind of remained relatively untouched, but let's go ahead and check out. So it's got oil storage facilities. Again, this could be a target-rich environment. And then this is pretty interesting here. A whole bunch of AAA pieces have been spotted on this island. So lots of AAA. When you think of this is something that the Russians call a dishka. So Russian dishka is something that could be on the targeting list here coming up. Oh, and they've got a soccer stadium. Guys, you shouldn't have. IRGC is like, in between running our AAA pieces, we just want to play soccer. We just want to enjoy. I wish there was more soccer being played in the country. I wish there was more peaceful activities taking place in the country from the IRGC, rather than just decimating their own population and propping up the Ayatollah's regime that wants a nuclear weapon. It'd be nice, guys, if you could just play more soccer. So a new bunker site, this is under construction. So you guys asked for before on the last live stream, you asked me to give you guys some imagery of IRGC bunkers. So I wanted to bring you in right here. This is a bunker that's under construction, and you can see some of the entrances up here at the top. So a little entrance point right there. For those of you listening in, it's basically what we're looking at as a very rugged structure, kind of like a hilly structured area on one of the different islands. And we've got IRGC bunker entrances that you can clearly see the bunker entrances here on the top. But how deep these things go, I mean, it's anybody's guess, right? Anybody's guess. And in the case of bunker depth, it is the size that matters. So contrary to popular belief, bunker depth, the deeper you go, the safer you are. It's why China builds 300-foot deep bunkers in actual islands in the Straits of Taiwan Straits. So you can see this island, fuel storage and gas. Let's see how long this runway is. So we're looking at an island basically closer to the mainland of Iran, but it's a Jazir-e Siri oil terminal. So it's one of another big oil terminal islands. It's called Siri Island. So a lot of people have been talking about Karg Island, but Siri Island is another very capable site. You can see here some offshore. It looks like an offshore oil platform. Let's do a little zoom in here. Nope. It's just it's 3 different ships that are connected. It's like 3 ships are mating in the water. It's kind of like whales mating with each other in the water. Is what we're looking at right now, but it's massive ships. This, this could be a hardened structure actually, now that I look at it a little closer, because it's square. So I don't think a lot of these ships are actually fully square. So actually this might be and it does have a big tower on it. So I'm thinking this is actually in the ocean itself for oil. And then we've got 2 ships right next to it that are loading up. Those of you that are in the oil fields, you can tell me more about what that is, but things like that could become legitimate targets as well if we find out that they're actually powering Shahed drones, different things like that, should the conflict kick back off. Got a tanker loading dock here. Again, all legitimate targets if they are found to be fueling the Iranian war machine. Oh, and this does have, these actually look like some naval vessels here. Let's take a closer look. The long and skinny ones mean business, and don't read into that too much. But the long and skinny ones typically are ones that have the ability to go a little faster and be a little more tactical. So maybe some platforms in the back for helicopter landings and things like that. So these likely have gone bye-bye with 160 of their main naval vessels going away. But as you can see, very capable island. This is just one of the islands that also could be being used for C2, command and control, to focus on knowing what ships are going through the strait, determining that France is shipping through the strait and they're going to get struck. But IRGC Navy fast boats, this is really good depiction, really good finding on your part, Derek. Nice work finding these IRGC Navy fast boats. And this is what everybody has been asking me. They're like, well, the Navy's decimated. How is Iran still able to fight and battle these different tankers, shoot at the tankers? Well, here we go, right here. So if you look at these fast boats, relatively quick boats, I would say top speeds probably around 40 miles an hour, 40 knots, 40, 50 knots, which is quick when you're out on the water. And then they've got a couple fast boats up here on the shore. So yeah, I mean, it's not a problem, right? The IRGC Navy is still a very capable proxy force, and that's how they're going to operate. And we're kind of seeing a proxy war. So it's a proxy force that they're using for their own country, but then we're kind of seeing a proxy war play out right now with China, right? We're seeing China step in, doing proxy war tactics, delivering high resolution imagery to Iran pretty much on the daily. I don't think that's stopped. I've been publishing it on my channel. Derek's helped me find some of that actual imagery that China has been giving to the IRGC. And we've reviewed that. We've seen that they've been able to update their targeting systems. But this is one of the main things that's likely on the minds of a lot of defense planners when it comes to Iran. This is a radar site, a comms tower. So not only detecting surface-to-air missile launches, being able to launch surface-to-air missiles, but being able to detect what's actually coming into the Strait of Hormuz itself. And then we've got a military training site here. So think IRGC Navy, Navy SEAL from the IRGC. You can see it's a shooting range. So that's nice. They have some shade for their shooting, but long distance shooting, basically lots of practice going on for the IRGC here. And then another military training site here. When one shooting range isn't enough, just build one out into the ocean on a little peninsula, the shooting peninsula, so that the IRGC has its own sites to practice and keep their skills sharp, as they're saying they have new cards for the battlefield. And I covered that in today's video. We've also got some oil derricks. So this is Derek. Oil derricks? Derek? Look at this. Derek, the man, showing us oil derricks. So showing us where these are out in the ocean. So lots of them here. So lots of areas where the IRGC is getting funding from, they're filling up, and then they're trying to get the tankers out to China, mainly to China. And then the Strait of Hormuz is here. So let me go ahead and rotate this around so we get a view from a north up perspective. This will look a little more familiar to you guys. This is kind of how most maps show the entire area. So the choke point, not where you want to operate from, right? You don't want to operate from there in your choke point. Here's what you want to do. You want to do what the U.S. Navy has done. And from what we can discern, again, this is information that's coming directly from General Kane, from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. U.S. naval blockade is in this region here. So U.S. naval blockade executing out here, not allowing any ships to cross. And that's how the Tuska was taken down. So the Tuska, commercial container vessel, it was apprehended by U.S. Marines. And the U.S. Navy blockade is right there. I mean, literally got apprehended pretty much right at the exact point where Derek has put this on the map for us. So very cool to see that happen. Let's see if Diamond is ready to join the chat. Let's see if she is good to go. Yep, Diamond is coming in. And now we've got a Diamond situation. So we'll go ahead and pop to this, and we'll bring her in. Boom, Diamond Cam. Diamond, you are live. Thank you for being an excellent moderator and for keeping everybody in check. Remember, guys, she's got a high-powered microwave oven. Oh, mute. Go ahead and mute your. Hey, Diamond, go ahead and mute your audio, please.
Yeah, I was going to say this first, though. I was going to tell
you.
I texted you, but I don't think you saw it. But the ceasefire is extended.
Oh, it got extended. Till when? Till when?
He's saying Wednesday, but it's not like a solid. But they're saying
I thought the
Wednesday.
ceasefire was always in play until Wednesday. But let me do some research on that. I've got a little overview to cover with the people, but that is good information for us to know. So thank you for that. Any other details, any other breaking info that you found?
No, he said it previously would end on Wednesday. Now he's extending it past Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Due to the Tehran's government being seriously fractured.
Okay. Interesting.
And then he said it would continue until such time as Iran's leaders and representatives submit a unified proposal to end the war with U.S. and Israel. So he doesn't give a specific date or day that it's going to end.
So more focus on the blockade is what it sounds like, what we'll probably see moving forward. Okay, that's good information. Awesome. Thank you for that. Guys, quick diving into the actual senior leader level brief. So my purpose with this, everybody listening and watching, is to give you developments over the last 12 hours that have come from key decisions that have been made throughout the conflict. So U.S.-Israel-Iran conflict, day 52, basically, is what we're seeing right now. So the talk status, it's highly fluid and deteriorating, even though we've just heard that they are going to extend the ceasefire. So maybe there's some things going on behind the scenes with leadership that they're actually able to negotiate with. That might be something that's actually happening. So U.S. President J.D. Vance, he's planned to travel to Islamabad for a second round of negotiations, but that's on hold pending White House review. President Trump can obviously override that when he wants, and Iran has made no decision on participation and has not dispatched its delegation, expected to be led by Parliamentary Speaker Mohammad Bagher Kalibaf. So the guy who's basically trying to get Iran to stay in the exact same, for what it seems like, the exact same place as it was before. He's basically trying to get Iran to not have to really concede much at all. 5 years moratorium on not having to refine nukes. That's kind of the same thing we've seen from other previous administrations. And this administration actually is putting kinetic action behind the talks, as we all know. So Pakistani mediators are continuing to shuttle diplomacy. They want diplomacy, but both sides cite the other's actions are undermining good faith. You know, kicking this thing back off at this point would be a little weird, but anything could happen. But it sounds like there will be some negotiations still before any conflicts happen. But I'll give you guys some breaking info as well towards the end. And just get us all on the same page as far as what's actually coming out of the Trump administration itself. So U.S. forces are maintaining that blockade. The blockade is the main focus. We know that. They've reinforced regional assets. A third carrier is en route, and that's coming from the southern tip of Africa. That's the USS George H.W. Bush. Iran claims maximum readiness. Their hardline elements in the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps signal willingness to resume asymmetric operations. Well, they kind of already have, right? With what we've seen take place in the Strait of Hormuz itself. So they've already kind of gotten that. They've already worked on that. They've already executed those strikes on the French vessel, on the Indian vessel. So it's kind of funny how France is staying pretty quiet too. France is like, oh yeah, nothing happened. And they're like, you lost 100,000 barrels of oil. And they're like, oh no, we ended up just making candles out of that. So we're actually just going into candle making. I mean, France at this point isn't even really acknowledging a lot of what's happened to their actual ship, which kind of tells you a little bit about where their mindset's at, right? So we got that key seizure of that Iranian cargo ship. So it sounds like that wasn't necessarily an oil tanker that was seized. Cargo ship. I wonder what was on it. Probably highly classified what was on it, but they're saying it was coming in from China is now the reports I'm seeing. So did it have Temu deliveries? Was it just beautiful little trinkets? Or was it something a little more nefarious? That all remains to be seen. But the military posture for the U.S., maintaining the blockade, reinforcing regional assets with the third tanker, and then hardliner elements in the IRGC have signaled that willingness to kick the conflict back off. I mean, at this point, they're basically saying they're willing to kick the conflict back off, even though they said they would open the Strait of Hormuz and then ended up striking tankers. Are we surprised? Negotiating with terrorists? Anyone thinking that this would go any other way? No immediate kinetic exchanges reported in the last 12 hours, but both sides have explicitly warned of rapid escalation. So we know that's kind of the big part there. President Trump did explicitly expose extending the ceasefire. He says, I don't want to do that. We don't have that much time. Describes U.S. position as strong, expects Iran to come to the table and deliver a great deal. Warns of immediate military resumption. I expect to be bombing, is what President Trump just recently said, because I think that's a better attitude to go in with. The military is raring to go. So you can see he wants negotiations to happen, but he's going in just like they are. They're doing the exact same playbook. You know, they've probably read Art of the Deal at this point, and they're like, oh, we're going to try to negotiate just like the Trump administration is. But he framed the blockade and pressure as leverage, which it obviously is. It definitely is leverage. I mean, $500 million a day cut off from the IRGC. That's some pretty good leverage. But he said that lots of bombs will start going off if no deal is met. So the overall tone that we're seeing right now is maximalist and time-constrained negotiations from both sides. U.S. military superiority is obviously there. We know that. They've decimated their entire Navy. The U.S. has their entire Air Force, most of their surface-to-air missile systems, and now Iran just falling back on the proxy tactics. That's what they do. That's what we know that they are fully focused on. So it looks like the foreign minister, Abbas Arachi, this was on an X post from April 21st from today. He said the U.S. tanker boarding and port blockade constitutes an act of war, an explicit ceasefire violation. He states, Iran knows how to neutralize restrictions and resist bullying. Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Bagai, he gave some remarks on the 21st as well. That's today. That's right now. He said, no decision on Islamabad talks, not due to a decision, but contradictory messages, contradictory behaviors, and unacceptable actions by the American side. It's all everybody else's fault. Iran's just the victim. It's everybody else's fault. He says talks would only proceed if results-oriented and blockade lifted, referenced earlier warnings of new cards on the battlefield that they have not played yet. And if you saw today's video, you guys would probably know a little bit more about what those new cards could be, potential electro-optical sensors that Iran loves to use that could be a part of what they're actually doing. Those electro-optical sensors could be from China. We know that they've gotten some updated targeting coordinates from China. That's kind of the main focus they have. If you guys throw a super chat in, ask a question, and if we get the goal met, I think it's 30 super chats, I'll do a 2-hour live stream. So if you guys want the 2-hour live stream, definitely throw something in the chat. And we all know that that money goes towards keeping Diamond from having to pick up dog. We'll just say dog. Whatever. We'll say that she's actually just walking the dogs. Yeah, she's probably picking up some other things from the dogs as well. So if you want to keep her off the streets, throw a super chat in just for fun. Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Baghel once again wants results-oriented negotiations, which they're saying means the blockade needs to be called off. But when that happened, when that was going on, they struck multiple oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz that were up near Larak Island. So do we think that they're actually negotiating in good faith, giving us actual information that they're going to follow through on? Kind of a snowball's chance in hell is what it looks like from my perspective at this point. Tay, thank you so much. Their tone is defiant yet defensive is how I would say it. I would say a defensive, defiant, we're not doing anything wrong. It's your fault. It's everybody else's fault. They're making their conditions being based on further diplomacy leading towards de-escalation while maintaining public unity in what they're coming out with their press releases anyways. They're saying all of Iran is being attacked, basically. They're trying to make it look like they're on the side of the people in Iran, which we all know they're not. We all know they killed 40,000 of their own people. Their state media has denied delegation travel to Islamabad so far, and they're projecting resolve to continue the conflict. John, thank you for that. John Haratz, thank you so much. You're moving us towards the goal of that 2-hour live stream. Whew, that'd be a marathon. I'm up for it. We'll just make sure that Diamond is in her seat about 6 hours prior to that live stream and stays in her chair doing research for about 6 hours after. So that'd be a 14-hour day for Diamond, which is nothing. Typically, we put her on 20-hour shifts. So actually, if we get the live stream, she'll actually get a little bit of a break because she does have to stay in that seat that she's in right now for 20 hours every day. So if you guys want to help with that, you know what to do. All right. So here's some other things that have been happening. So it sounds like the Supreme Leader, Majid Khamenei, who we've only seen recently as a cardboard cutout, so we don't know if he's actually still alive, but they're at least pretending like he's alive. I mean, let's put ourselves in the shoes of Iran. They might be pretending he's alive while someone else is in power, and they just don't want to reveal the name of that person because they know they'll be struck. So supposedly he still holds ultimate authority over foreign policy, military strategy. Again, do you guys think it's a good idea for a radical Islamic cleric to hold ultimate authority over foreign policy, military strategy, and nuclear issues per the Islamic Republic's constitution? That is in their constitution. Wow. Thanks so much, Diesel D's. That is, you know what? It is helpful. You're awesome. Thank you so much. So he holds ultimate power as per their constitution. The Republic of Iran, Islamic Republic of Iran, says the Ayatollah has final authority over foreign policy, military strategy, nuclear issues. This is why he's able to act like Hitler and kill 40,000 of his own people, because he has ultimate at absolute power in the country. Basically, they also have worked something in to their documents of the state saying he is the true representative of God. And that's why he's able to actually do what he does. So they're like, yeah, he can kill 40,000 of his own people because they're going against God. That's what he is. That's what he said. I mean, that's literally, you can look it up. Don't take my word for it. Look it up yourselves if you guys want. He's a hardliner who's also operating behind the scenes, supposedly, or someone else is in his shoes doing the exact same thing from the Ayatollah class. So supposedly him or whoever it is overseeing and must approve major negotiations. And that is actually starting to trickle back out. So they've kind of kept that a little quieter than what we've seen in the past, where they've been like, the supreme leader has all power over everything. We got to check with the Ayatollah first. So they're not saying that anymore, which is interesting. But they are saying that this guy is still around making decisions. So supposedly, this is a Iranian statement that is saying the Islamabad talks could occur under the supervision of the supreme leader and the highest levels of the system. So they're not saying Supreme Leader Khamenei, they're not saying who it is, but they're still saying under the supreme leader. They're still saying the exact same thing, pretty much. So it says that Khamenei has instructed the IRGC to maintain hands on the trigger, that's a direct quote, and describe the current pause as not the end of the war. So really they have the hardline Islamic cleric, who's the most hardline radical person, cult leader you could ever think of, who's in charge of an actual military. And we talked about on the last live stream how that actually came about. So I'll save you guys from going into that. It's about a 10-minute discussion. So I'll save that for another time, and we'll move into some other stuff here on this one. But his hardline posture is basically, right now, from what we can tell, still shaping Tehran's resistance to perceived U.S. pressure. But we've got the nominal civilian leadership. We don't know how much power they actually have. President Masoud Pezeshkian and Foreign Minister Araki is how you say that, I guess. Araki. Not going to work here anymore is kind of how I like to say that one. They're executing power and policy, but they lack independent veto power on strategic issues. Parliamentary Speaker Kalibaf is the designated senior negotiator for tactical talks, reflecting a balance between hardliners and pragmatists, supposedly. Competing factions exist from what we can tell so far, with a couple reports coming out yesterday saying an IRGC boss just took control of Iran. And then today we didn't hear anything about it. Today they're like, yeah, no, we're not sure what happened there. I mean, did they execute him? Did they strike him down? The Supreme Leader's office, though, from what we can tell, still maintains the final arbiter of what goes on. So no indications of leadership fractures severe enough to alter the dynamic to a point where we could actually get a deal done, is what I'm seeing so far. And that's just open source, right? We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Some key takeaways from your senior leader brief today. The window for diplomacy is closing very rapidly. Defaults to resumed hostilities appear more likely, but at this point, we've seen a potential extension coming down. Or Iran could reverse course at some point, I guess, if there is an actual fracture inside the regime itself. But their whole focus is on the maritime domain, which we covered a little bit of that in the target imagery at the beginning. Their whole focus is to control the maritime environment. That's the big thing, because the immediate flashpoint is the Strait of Hormuz. Escalation here, again, is going to spike global energy prices again, even though this blockade has shut down the strait at this point. The Iranian hardline stance seems kind of intangible at this point. We don't know how real it is, how real it's not. Very hard to determine what's actually happening in the country. And Diamond, we should take a note. We should bring on Mike Baker again maybe for a live stream even. I don't know. Or we just bring him in for the normal channel and I'll do a full podcast with him. But I think it'd be good to get his opinion on this, what's going on behind the scenes from a CIA perspective. The things that he can share with us might be really cool. So one of the things that we'll monitor for you guys, keep track of, is JD Vance's travel decision. So does the White House actually decide to send JD Vance? Any Iranian delegation movement towards Islamabad, and then IRGC statements in the next 24 hours. So all things are on the table at this point. And it's pretty wild to know that all things are on the table, because that means we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen as far as the talks actually amounting to something. But We shall see. So let's go ahead and do a quick review of a little bit of X. We'll see what's going on there. So we'll see what they've stated that they have new cards on the battlefield. And here is what the rumor is. Here's what their new cards include. So let's have a listen. All right, we need to find a more high resolution video. So for those of you listening right now, we are looking in to see what the IRGC's special weapon is. And it looks like this is a part of what we could see. We're basically seeing the IRGC showing how flexible they are. This is a video that was released today on X. I mean, the guy with the white beard, him stretching like that, like, this is a real problem. The Navy SEALs right now are like, oh no, how do we defend against this amount of flexibility? No. Oh, he's stretching both sides. Oh my gosh. Just when we thought he was only flexible on one side, he's actually flexing both sides. Diamond, do you think we should be scared about this new development from the IRGC? Any reactions to this?
Okay, I texted you this, but I'll tell it on the live too. I said it looks like one of those workout videos from the 80s, but like
Yeah.
grandpa version. That's what I got from that video. Oh, yeah, definitely workout video from the 80s.
This is
they just needed those updated military uniforms in Iran to look more like those workout uniforms from the 80s workout videos.
Yeah.
I just wish butterfly now.
Oh, they're doing the butterfly. I mean, groin flexibility really shows that you have cojones. I think that's why they're focusing on groin flexibility. Man, okay. I think we all get the point. Wow. But yeah, this video, they probably didn't want it to leak, but it's been leaked, and now we know. I think they just need headbands. If they could just have headbands, this would really complete this. I mean, they might as well come out with an IRGC workout series at this point.
Don't forget the leg warmers.
The leg warmers, yeah, the foofy little leg warmers, absolutely.
Yep, and then the wrist ones too. Gotta have the whole fit.
There you go. Okay, the IRGC is just now warning neighboring countries if they help with attacks, they can say goodbye to oil production. Yeah, we obviously know. So those of you that are just listening in, the IRGC is showing a video of some of their previous strikes on oil infrastructure. So let's see if there's any sound here. Nothing. Yeah, nothing really valuable. So yeah, they've definitely struck a lot of their Gulf partners. So we know that's something that they're not afraid to do. Something they do. They did, a lot, even striking residential neighborhoods. So that could be something that we see again as well. But they're warning all the other countries. So it is interesting seeing this level of rhetoric come out where maybe they think the hostilities could kick back off. And then some more, they've got all these little dummy accounts. The IRGC does. It's kind of like the Andrew Tate model, which basically he had like 1,000 people, which was actually really smart on his part. He had 1,000 people getting his clips out there. So when they would try to shut down one account, they just open another one. So the IRGC has lots of these, as you can see. So never surrender. Iran chief's negotiator comes out swinging, as he said, regime is ready to reveal new cards for the battlefield. Yeah, we talked about that in my video today where we went over a little bit about what those new cards could be. And the big takeaway, since you guys are here in the live stream, I want you to go watch that video, shameless plug, but maybe you've already watched the video. And so what I would expect, and this is just, I've seen some reports on it as well, is they're going to double down on their Shahed drones because the ballistic missiles are being intercepted relatively well. A lot of the ballistic missile launchers are struck, so they don't have a lot of those left. So their big go-to now is Shahed drones. So that's the big focus, Shahed drones. And that is what they'll likely bust out should the hostilities kick back off again. But right now, some breaking news that we're seeing on X, again, it's Wild West out here. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps moved 2 ballistic missiles and their launchers to Vanak Square and Revolution Square during the large pro-government demonstrations. Yeah, the large pro-government demonstrations where they're like, hey, if you don't go out and demonstrate, we're going to kill you. And they're all like, oh, yeah, we'll come out and be a part of the large government demonstration. But yeah, that's one of their ballistic missile launchers being brought through the streets. So they're trying to basically do 1984. That's a book. I don't know if you guys out there have read that book, but it's a book about ultimate control that the government has. And as you can see, what's in the actual Ayatollah's constitution is they are responsible for everything. They have final say. So their crazy, radicalized, violent mind is going to play itself out in the actual society and culture itself. So there's no elements in that guy's mind that are less radicalized. It's full radicalization. And so that's going to come across in their society with walking this through the streets and forcing people to come out and say it's a pro-government demonstration. But that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to make it look like a pro-government demonstration. So Iran says it has those new cards for the battlefield. We saw their groin stretches. We know their groin stretches are next level. But that threat looks like it could refer to conventional military escalation, proxy activation, or Hormuz escalation. But it could also signal that Iran retains options in the nuclear domain as well. I mean, if they're able to come out with a nuclear weapon here in the next few weeks during the ceasefire, does that mean they're able to have a nuke on their hands or some small battlefield nuke that they could use or at least threaten the world with? This account right here, OSINT into it, we don't know the details behind it, but their perspective is that Iran holds an enriched uranium stockpile sufficient for multiple radiological dispersal devices, ballistic missiles that survived the February strikes, and a proxy network with global reach built by IRGC commander Ahmad Vahidi over 4 decades. Yeah, we know that. So would they use something nuclear? I mean, there's always the possibility. So they've got their new cards. Let's see what this video is. So okay, so this is showing some of their ballistic missiles. Let's have a listen. See it's just dramatic music in the background. Let's see if we see anything in their ballistic missile production. Yeah, so we know a lot of these neighbors, and so that's exactly what they're focused on, for sure. So as you can see, writing their cute little messages on it. Again, this is what we're going to see out of the IRGC. Basically, more radicalization. I mean, when you have a radical cleric who's in charge of everything, that's what you're going to get. And then the population the population supporting the government, likely forced to be there. I mean, maybe there's a couple that are so brainwashed that they're going to show up anyways. But if a lot of those people didn't show up, they would be executed. So there's their demonstrations through the streets. We're seeing that ballistic missile launcher go through the streets. So it says Iran won't attend U.S. talks unless, what did that say at the beginning? Unless conditions are met. So it's saying Iran won't attend U.S. talks unless its conditions are met. So they're basically like, unless we can do exactly what we did before, then we're not going to attend the talks. And look at this. This is interesting, right? This quote is coming from Khamenei's envoy. So Khamenei's envoy, not Khamenei himself. So are they just going to keep Khamenei kind of as a figurehead? Is he still alive? We don't exactly know. Probably not going very well. We'll just say that. Command of the IRGC warned that Iran's southern neighbors that if their territorial facilities are used by enemies to attack, they should say goodbye to oil production in the Middle East. Well, it's going to be oil production for yourself as well at this point, is what it sounds like. And they're literally not getting any oil production out of the south through the blockade. And some people have said, well, could they be getting oil out through the north? I mean, they could, but it's not going to be as much as what we're seeing here. So thought that was very interesting. Let's see if there's any new information on the ceasefire. We'll just type in Iran-US conflict. And then we'll pop over to, there's a site I want to bring you guys to that I really like. Breaking, Iraqi kids are now selling U.S. drones worth millions that have been downed in the Iran conflict on TikTok. Interesting. Yeah, we don't, it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, just selling U.S. drones. Right. Here we go. Here's what he said. Blocking Iranian, this is the Arachi. Blocking Iranian ports is an act of war and thus a violation of the ceasefire. Striking a commercial vessel and taking its crew hostage is an even greater violation. Iran knows how to neutralize restrictions, how to defend its interests, and how to resist bullying. So again, just stepping up the hardline approaches. So yeah, are we surprised here? In an explosive revelation, China provided Iran with live satellite imagery. Oh, live imagery. I didn't know it was live. And Baidu navigation data directly enabling Iran to track every move of the USS Gerald R. Ford and USS Abraham Lincoln and American bases in the Middle East during the conflict. Well, that's not an actual tanker, or that's not an actual U.S. carrier there, so I don't know why they're showing that, but very interesting. Okay, let's see if there's anything on the latest Whoa, that's creepy. All right. Military conflict described as ongoing or could be ongoing. I don't see anything necessarily on the ceasefire yet, but we'll keep you guys posted on that should that develop. JD Vance's Pakistan trip for second round of talks put on hold. That was 3 minutes ago, so we know that's the case there. Let's see. This says, I maintain the EU is indirectly complicit in the conflict. Their opposition stems from Trump himself. Under different president, they would likely have backed the U.S. in confronting Iran. That's interesting. Yeah, maybe they probably would have if it was, a political person that aligned more with them. So someone more from the left in the United States, they might have stepped up and backed it. And a lot of the backers of the actual EU, the European Union, I mean, think of people like Klaus Schwab, the guy that says you should just rent everything. He's probably one of the ones who's like, would support a left-leaning U.S. president. But my big thing is, and I would say this to the left-leaning media, why not come out first with like, let's have the U.S. win the conflict and have a better outcome for the whole world, and focus on that first, and then go with your political descriptions or whatever. Focus on the military winning first. But when it comes to Europe, they're under the thumb of people like the Klaus Schwabs of the world that run the World Economic Forum. Those people are likely the underbosses, if you will. And correct me if I'm wrong, Diamond, in like mafia style leanings, isn't the underboss actually more in control as the face of the actual mafia itself? Can you give us a little background on that?
I'm not an expert in the mafia, but from what I understand, yeah, like the figureheads that most people know of like a mafia group or like a certain sect of mafia, they're in charge, but they also have an underboss that is basically, I kind of equate to like the underground guy that's actually over everything, even on top of the leader that you see. So to my understanding, they have more power. They're just kind of over everything, including the leader that you see.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Wait, so you're not an actual mafia boss yourself? You're not an underboss yourself? I thought you were an expert because you were an underboss.
I can't disclose that information. So I will
Oh,
not confirm or deny that statement.
oh, interesting. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
Mhm.
I have my theories on what Diamond's actually doing behind the scenes. You guys can go with your theories as well. She's probably running the whole world as far as we know, making moves behind the scenes that we don't even know about. So yeah.
Maybe so.
But yeah, when it comes to the Klaus Schwab type figures, those types of people, they're going to be, mainly the financiers of people like Macron, people like Starmer. So again, you got to ask, what are their, political intentions that you don't see? And there's a reason why they just don't want to back this current administration, the right-leaning administration. But yeah, I think this is onto something where they would likely be backing a Iran conflict if it was from a different political party, which is kind of gross to think about if you ask me. My mom's calling. We'll have to call it. Diamond, take a note, call my mom back and make sure I call her back. And all of you out there, make sure you call your mom. Okay. But yeah, she's literally calling me right now. Mom, love you. But here, I'm going to text her real quick. Mom, I'm in a live stream. We'll call you back. Cause she'll be like, why didn't you just at least send me a message that was like, when you're going to call me back? So I'll tell her we're in a live stream. Love you, Mom. All right. So the other thing I wanted to bring you guys to, this is an account that I really like. I think it's open source Intel. Yeah, open source Intel. Seems like a lot of good breaking news coming out of here. So let's check it out. The worst time for X to suppress real-time news and intelligence monitoring is right now. At the exact moment US-Iran tensions are at their peak, the platform is restricting the content you follow us for. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, their impressions are down. Hey, I mean, Diamond, we've seen this with YouTube as well, right? Sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes the algorithm shifts and some other things become more popular, or some keywords get you not on the front page of YouTube. We've had videos pop off and not pop off, and we're like, what's going on? So the struggle is real. Looks like, and it could be also that this, we've covered the Iran conflict a lot, right? And that's because of popular demand. People want us to cover it. But there's other subjects we could be covering as well, like Cuba, Mexico, South America. There's a lot of military action going on in those areas as well. and it could be just kind of falling out of favor in the news cycle. I mean, at some point people, and we're not talking to our people that are here in our live stream or on Apple or on Spotify. They're here to get the real information, but we're in the heat of this conflict pretty much still. It's not over yet. So could be falling out of the news cycle, but also sometimes you just don't know. You don't know what's actually going on behind the scenes. IRGC affiliated Tasnim says, we have not accepted Trump's ceasefire. Official statement will come soon. So this is a statement that recently came out based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, and upon the request of Field Marshal Asim Munir and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif of Pakistan, we have been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. I have therefore directed our military to continue the blockade and in all other respects remain ready and able, and will therefore extend the ceasefire until such time as their proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded one way or the other. President Donald J. Trump. Well, okay. I mean, I think that's good, giving some space here for negotiation. And I agree. I mean, what are you going to do? There's so many other things that can be done in Iran besides just continuously doing what we did for the last, 30 plus days, just bombing them. I mean, there's a lot of other things that can be done behind the scenes. And I think we're seeing their proxy network is so deep and so embedded in the country because it's been allowed to go on for 47 years without anybody intervening, that it's a really tough problem when it comes to their fast attack boats, Shahed drones, and ballistic missile launchers. Obviously, we knew they were going to fall back on that. Better way to fracture this whole evil regime, in my opinion, is probably some behind the scenes work, more of a Syria model. And that's something that we can cover in some live streams as well. Diamond, we'll save that for another time, but I can cover with everybody what happened in Syria. That was like a 6 to 7 year operation to actually get Bashar al-Assad out of power. But then again, he didn't quite have the stronghold on the country that the inner regime of the IRGC has. So will there be a liberated city? Will there be some sort of a operation to strike down some of the inner workings of that Ayatollah regime, the hardline regime, based on those radical principles? I mean, a lot of these IRGC guys, they stay because the money's flowing. And so the money's not flowing anymore. So we'll see what actually happens with them coming to the table. But they're just going to focus on more hardline tactics. I mean, it's in their constitution that the supreme leader has full power over the entire country. So this says, Galabaf advisor Mohammed rejects Trump's ceasefire extension, saying it means nothing and that the losing side cannot dictate terms. Wow. He says maintaining the siege is equivalent to continued bombardment and must be met with a military response. Wow. Mohammed calls the extension a ploy to buy time for a surprise strike. The time for Iran to take the initiative has come. Okay. So we'll see what nastiness they have planned. But again, this could come down to some sort of a proxy tactic. Again, I always tell everybody in the live streams, just make sure you have your head on a swivel, even here in the United States, because they could execute some sort of terrorist proxy attack somewhere not in the Middle East. It could be somewhere else. We know that they've looked at plans of bringing in attack drones off the coast of California. So that's something that's likely being looked at very heavily by the FBI. But from the Iran-linked state news Tasnim, they said, Iran says its official position will be announced at a later stage, of course. Trump said that their leadership is seriously fractured. Yeah. So their leadership being seriously fractured, I do think he's onto something there. Like if he thinks there could be something that could come from this, great. And I think keeping the blockade on is awesome as well. Keep the blockade on, keep the pressure. And you can see this is really pissing off Galabaf, that he's basically getting angry saying, oh, Iran's going to react. It's because they're losing $500 million a day and they know it. And that's not a good position for them to be in. So that's definitely something that is totally pissing him off. So I think that's coming through in that statement. I don't know. Diamond, what do you think after hearing his thoughts, the leader of Iran's thoughts?
I mean, again, they're just grasping at straws, but honestly, like extending the ceasefire, just keeping the blockade up, I don't think it's going to be a bad thing in the long run, because the blockade is, with the blockade there, of course, no oil ships and oil tankers are going through the strait. And so what that is doing, and honestly, I think it's genius 4D chess, like you're segment in your normal
I may have
videos.
said that once or twice. I think I've used that once. I've only said 4D chess one time my entire life.
Yeah, but I think it's genius though, because what that is doing is allowing those oil tankers to be rerouted to the United States to get their oil. And so like here it even says US oil exports are on track for record highs as global consumers seek alternatives to the Iranian crude. And so like with them not going to the strait, they're
We got to
going
get you
to
a mic, by the way. Sorry, we'll go ahead and put you on mute for now, just because the background noise. But we'll get you a mic for the next one. All right, sounds good. But that's really good. I mean, I think you're really onto something. But I just don't want the people to have to hear the crying baby in the background. So, but we'll get you a mic for follow-on ones, because it should cancel out all that. But then you're also not allowed to leave your desk. So I'll be the one to deliver your mic as you sit at the desk for the next 24 hours straight. So. You guys know that I'm a good boss. I actually allow her to leave the desk for 4 hours out of the day, which is, in my opinion, I'm a pretty good boss. Oh, the eye roll. I just saw the eye roll. All right. So IRGC, this is from Texas Aviator. He says, thanks for the IRGC aerobic stretching video earlier. He's still laughing at that one. You're welcome. Diver Eli says, ceasefire extended. Yep, we'll see. But Iran just said they don't accept it. So who's actually in control of Iran? They're in disarray. Who knows who they're actually making deals with? Maybe there's a deal being made with a hardline IRGC guy who's going to take over the country. I mean, that could be a good deal, right? For that IRGC guy, if he's someone who knows that the country's gone off the tracks and he's able to actually have control and command. But Iran's going to try to kill that guy real quick if that were to happen. Blockade probably does more damage than bombing. Bill, I would say so, actually. I think, we've bombed the crap out of them. Now I think it's more like special operations type things, CIA operations, and then blockade. Like, just blockade the crap out of them. I think at this point, push their ships back in, push them in hard, if you know what I mean. Diesel D says, not much, but a little towards the goal. We really appreciate it. Anything that's really appreciated. Excuse me. XRP Carolina says, just a little something to keep Sarah off the streets. Yeah. I think we're pretty close to keeping her off the streets. She'll basically, you guys just bought her an extra few hours off the streets. So that's good. 3D Django Jones, you've answered everything. Right on. Appreciate that, my friend. Diesel D's says, did my other one in the wrong spot, so adding one here. Thank you very much. 3D Django says, were you USAF? Yes. Was USAF for the F-15E Strike Eagle and the F-16 Thunderbird? Thank you. Finally, somebody asking so I can drop the fact that I'm a pilot. I've been waiting for 17 live streams to drop the fact I'm a pilot. It's not like I try to subtly hint at it at all. But you finally asked. Thank you. Yes. But you guys know you'll know who a pilot is, right? You walk into a room, you know how to know who a pilot is right away, right? Don't worry, they'll tell you. That's the number one. That's the number one thing you got to remember about pilots. We're pretty proud of being pilots. Texas says, just making up for Apple hosing you. The 1 cent on all my super chats. Yes, we'll take it. We'll take that. We got to fight back against that 1 cent toll. We don't like taxes. Nobody likes taxes. So we'll take that 1 cent, put it towards taxes. Human rights offender says, Iran talking spicy. I might have to pull up now. Nice. Yeah, we might need you in there. We might need to put you in. Put in human. Put human in there, coach. Mr. Stevens says, negotiating with Iranians is stupid. Yeah. It is, but maybe the negotiations, again, they're a way for us to tap them along because they've tapped the world along for a long time. So maybe this is a way to tap them along, fight fire with fire, use some of their own medicine against them. Maybe this is the way that it should go down, but the blockade is smart power and it's being executed on them. So we'll see what comes of the blockade. Again, remember that there's ripples that come off of the blockade. It's not just like the blockade's there and everything goes normal for the mullahs in Iran. They see the blockade come in and they're like, oh, really? We're actually going to dry up our $500 million a day? It's a lot. Okay. Diamond, should we do the giveaway? The member giveaway? Okay. Member giveaway. Here we go. Let me grab the actual thing itself while we're doing the giveaway. Okay, so this is what's being given away. And let's pop back to the map. for our background shot. All right, here we go. So if you want to text me the winner, you're doing the spinny wheel thing, right? To find the winner again. Okay. The winner of this thing, let's see. Let's do this a little bigger so everybody can see what's going on. Okay. So the winner, you have to be in the live, right, for them to win? Okay. So the little spinny wheel, drum roll, please. The little spinny wheel says, can you guys read that? James Isengard. James Isengard, are you in the chat? Say hello, James. And then once you say hello, Sarah will give you further instructions. But we really want to give this away to somebody, and it's got to go to a member, and it's got to go to somebody who's in the chat right now. So James Isengard, speak up now, my friend. I'll talk for another couple minutes, but this is the newest item, and you have to claim it. We have to claim it within 24 hours, right? So if we don't hear from James, sorry, we're going to move on so that someone can get this. Okay, cool. So the last thing that I will say is that
they have to be in the live.
Oh, they have to be in the live stream themselves. Okay. So we'll just kind of sit here and wait for James to reach out. And then do you want to do one more? If he doesn't reach out, we'll give James like a going once, going twice. Okay, cool. We'll give him a couple minutes. While we're doing that, I will review a little bit more of this imagery so we can get an idea a little more about what Derek has created for us. Lots of great information here. When I think of the blockade itself, what it's doing, it's really basically pressuring the mullahs. It's pressuring the inner regime. And something that we all might not know is if you look at all these pipelines, so these lines going through the actual Persian Gulf, these are pipelines. Let's see if I can, yeah. So that is, what's the name of this one? This is Iran gas pipeline, the FID. This is the FID 50 is the name of this pipeline. So it goes under the Persian Gulf, goes through, scoops up oil from these different oil derricks. I mean, this is a lot. Look at all this oil, all these oil positions here. These are in the water themselves. They're pumping oil all over the place. And you can see that these Gulf partner nations are actually connected with pipelines. Wild. Let's see what was struck here, just out of curiosity. So South Par's refinery is up here. The Naban strike. I'm curious what this was. So Naban strike was a kinetic strike. Looks like it was on 3/8. So it was actually March 8th, 2026. Looks like there's been no reports of anybody killed in the strike. And then this is some of the research here. If you guys want to do your own research, you can grab that link, just take a screen capture of it or something if you want to research that. I'll leave that up for just a second here. But yeah, so Derek's has done a really great job of getting us a lot of this target data with the most verified information he can get, right? I mean, he's using AI, he's using all kinds of things to put this together. I'm pretty sure the CIA is going to hire him off of the Max Afterburner. He's basically going to be like, sorry guys, I can't work for you anymore. I've been hired by a higher level organization. What's higher than Max Afterburner, Diamond? Honestly, you know, we should be hiring from the CIA. Just kidding. Just kidding. CIA, we're just kidding. CIA just entered the chat and they're like, oh, really, huh? All of a sudden, all the internet just goes boop. We're like, we didn't mean it. We already had problems with our internet. So please, CIA, don't shut off our internet. It'd be great if we could keep that going. Did we hear from James Isengard? Nope. Okay, so it's on to the next one. Spinny wheel. The spinny wheel says James Dudley. James Dudley. So James Dudley, if you're in the house, speak up, send a chat out there. Diamond will see it and she'll give you instructions on what to do. I'll tell you the instructions. You're basically going to follow me on Instagram, send me a message, and then we'll make sure that you get what you need to get. So that's kind of the instructions, but she'll make it more official. All right, a couple more energy infrastructure things while we wait on James. We'll give James a couple minutes. And then if we don't hear from James, then we're going to have to wait for the next live stream. So maybe we'll start the next live stream with the giveaway. I don't know. It's kind of more fun to do it at the end, I feel like. Oh, look at this, a phased array radar. So this is the Shadir radar site. It's a phased array radar. Let's see what we got here. So this information shows us that it is a pointed phased array radar site. The installation name is Gadir radar sites. And let's see if we can get a close up zoom in on this. All right. So those of you that are listening on Apple and Spotify, we're basically zooming in on a radar site, just seeing if it's what kind of radar site it could be. Oh, it's phased array. Wow. Interesting. Yeah. So phased array isn't going to look like a traditional radar dish. It's going to have a lot of these little, as you can see, these antennas that are popping up. And this thing, supposedly, this could be one of the places that China, updated their radar site on. This could be one of the places that they say that China brought in the technology to try to spot F-35s and other things like that. But it's out in the open. It's an easy target. So that would go away very quickly. But again, it's not nothing. You can see the reflections and the shadows of those different phased array radar bands, which shows you how much money Iran has. They get $500 million a day in oil. And that's just what's being shut off from the blockade. So, man, this is what happens when a radical cleric gets ultimate power. I mean, it's the same thing that happened in Nazi Germany. Someone got radical power, which is isn't it bizarre, Diamond, that Germany's actually saying that this is not a valid war and that basically Iran's fine. We shouldn't be in this. And it's like, oh yeah, you guys were the guys that actually got taken advantage of by Hitler as well. And again, I'm nothing against the German people. I think the German people are incredible, but the leaders, to me, like, they kind of go in the same category. They're all under the payment of someone. So they won't speak up against evil and terror anymore. And I'm like, you guys are the ones that should be speaking up against it. I mean, if anybody's speaking up against it, it should be the German people. But the German people, the German people, I think if we could actually get a conversation with them, they would speak up about it. But the leaders are under the thumb of somebody, some European power, super PAC or something like that, that's funding them. But it is interesting that, the German people did speak up for regime change. They stood up and they protested. Munich was packed with people. I mean, we had people in, Canada standing up and speaking up against a regime that was killing people. So, but if anybody should be on the side of getting rid of the evil regime in Iran because of what they could do, it should be the Germans. I mean, come on. Awesome. To go towards a pair of Dr. Scholl's for street wandering shoes for Diamond. That's really kind. Diamond, as you're wandering the street, you just got $5 for some insoles. That is so kind. Diesel D's hooking it up. Did we actually get the member to come through for the, did James Dudley actually respond? Okay. Well, guys, we are going to save this for a follow-on live stream, but we tried. Really appreciate everybody being here tonight. Thanks so much. Diamond, thank you for being an expert moderator. We appreciate you. And you've got $5 for insoles now. So when you're wandering the streets today, at least your feet will feel nice. And that's important. All right. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate you being here. And for all of you on Apple, thank you for following us on Apple. We're really excited to be on there. And then for all of the Spotifyers as well, we've launched this as a full-up podcast. And what you're going to see, I'll give a quick just 30 seconds on where we're going to evolve this to. So what you guys will see, this will become basically, it's the live stream. But what we've decided, instead of doing like a podcast where we have to, we're editing and blah, 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 like we'd rather just get you guys the live version. And so we'll be bringing on guests for live podcasts. A lot of my former fighter pilots will be coming on doing live streams with us, covering a lot of the different geopolitical situations that are going on, or just covering cool things that are happening in the world with military technology. So this will be the official Max Afterburner podcast. It's the live stream on YouTube, and then it's going to be pumped to Apple and Spotify and a whole bunch of other places. So basically anywhere you get your podcast, it'll be out there. So thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. Consider becoming a member if you haven't already, so we can finally give this thing away. I mean, I'm just trying to give away this F-16 replica stick. So please, someone please take it. Someone please be in the live stream. That's a member. That'd be great. Oh, also members live stream. We'll be doing a members only live stream. That'll be coming up at some point. Diamond, we'll talk about that when that's actually going to happen. But what I'd like to do is we'll advertise for it for about 4 or 5 days so we can make sure all the members get to come in, and we'll just do a members only one. So I think that's it for now. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate you. Max Afterburner and Diamond signing off. Diamond, say bye to everybody.
Bye, everyone. I hope you'll have a great rest of your day, and we will see you. I don't think we're going to do a live tomorrow. And so we'll see you in the next couple days.
Yeah, sounds great. And we'll get her a mic so you don't hear crying baby in the background.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.